was not a natural performer. Naturally confident, but not a natural performer. Like, I weren't really good at dancing. I was a bit dumpy and a little bit out of beat, and I couldn't really sing. But then eventually, by the time I got to 15, I was still not great, but I could work my way around a few things. And I went there from 7 years old, and I went full-time at 11. But yeah, I worked a lot. I worked an awful lot from day one. Bang, I worked a lot. I worked with Queen and, Freddie Mercury and George Michael. I've worked with so many different types of people. I did the West End for Andrew Lloyd Webber. I've done Royal Varieties. I've worked at Buckingham Palace garden parties. I've done everything. And I was just a normal kid, and I was the only child. And as in every child, you just want to please people, please your parents and stuff. But we've becoming more famous. Not famous as such, but I did commercials. I was on TV all the time. And I went to a little local primary school, and other kids didn't really like it. So I was on a Colgate commercial. I was doing different things. I was in Grange Hill. I was busy. And I got bullied, and I got bullied, and I got bullied, and I got bullied, and I got beaten up all the time. I had all my hair cut off. I cut off one of my plaits at school, and it was horrific for me. And then my dad agreed to let my mum send me to full-time school at Sylvia Young's. And I think that's really just where I wanted to be, because I was like all the other kids. But what I hadn't spoken about to both my parents was I was being abused massively within the industry. Where Gav sit?
That's okay, man.
It's hard. Yeah, and it was hard because at 7 years old, you don't really want to say to your mum and dad, like, I never even seen my parents naked, thank you for that. To suddenly say that I'm being made to do this, and this, thanks. Is it that bad? I got a big towel. To say, as my makeup sponge there, I'm being abused, and it was hard. So it took me till I was 9 years old to finally tell somebody in a position of what I would call power, and I won't say who the people were that I told, and I was told to be quiet and go to work. And I think when you get to 9 and you're still a kid, like you haven't even reached puberty, and you've got people that have abused you not day in, day out, but like month in, month out on jobs and cabaret circuits and stuff, and the other kids around you having the same. It's difficult, it's really difficult. And when you're told to just be quiet and go to work, you want to please people because you don't want to make you look a liar.
Yeah.
And I think, those sort of people that do that to you know that.
Manipulate
and as a kid, you don't know
that.
You just said to shut up. Yeah, I was groomed, heavily groomed. And given alcohol from like 8 years old. I was given my first line of coke. Actually, I told people in the press at 14 I'd taken coke in a club situation. I wasn't. I was given drugs a lot younger. And other sorts of drugs as well to suppress me, whilst these things were happening to us. And I think when I went to Sylvia Young's, it was normal for me to go there because I've been around a lot of kids that I've worked with that it happened to, and God rest, Sylvia would go mad if she'd known that had happened to us because she'd done everything to protect us, But we were told by people not to say, and it was just very difficult. And then I knew no different. So at 9 years old, when you say that, you learn real faster on your own in this world.
Mm-hmm. People can make their assumptions, people can have their opinion, but people need to understand how young you were when you started getting abused and groomed for 7 years old, for getting drugs at 9 years old. And
I was given drugs regularly as well.
And in this industry, and people are groomers and it goes on, I think a lot more people are speaking out, and with you telling your story now, a lot more people will come forward and have some strength as well. So that takes courage. That shows you that you are a fighter. That shows that how far you've came in life. Everything that you've went through to where you are today, you're still fighting. You're still kicking on. You're still pushing forward. And that takes courage and strength.
I think I think it does. But it takes a lot of help as well from people, and it takes to get to learn the word no is a powerful word, and it wasn't a word I ever knew to say. No, I don't want to do something, or no, you can't do that to me, or no, I won't. Because I just wanted to please people.
Yeah.
So yes. And then, obviously, so when I got to I don't know, whatever age, 16, 17, 18 or 15, 16, so whatever, and my friends are getting their first boyfriend and nights out and, and they're having sex for the first time and it's all exciting and they're falling in love. I felt nothing. When it come down to it about having a first sexual encounter, I felt nothing. Because I just, in my head, I departmentalised sex or somebody touching me with abuse.
Did you just
and
shut
work.
off then?
I just shut off.
Just
I didn't feel
empty.
anything.
Yeah.
I felt nothing about it. Because that's how I dealt with it as a child, because they'd numb me so much with different kinds of concoctions and stuff like that. So when someone first offered me a line of cocaine at 14, there was an older boy that I really liked, who still to this day goes, I feel so bad about it. How would I? You're still a mate of mine. I'm like, listen, man, you weren't really the first person. It doesn't matter. But, you know, and he said, he's like, I feel terrible. I carried it for years. I said, well, it's not your fault. I've done it anyway. And because it was something I recognised, that I knew hadn't killed me, I did it. And it was, you know, it was the 80s, you know, and it was the thing to do. Then it was the yuppie scene. Everyone was champagne and cocaine, and went to EastEnders, and all of my friends were normal. They were going to college, and, you know, I'm ringing up my best mate on a Thursday night from primary school and going, come out tonight, I'm going to a party, and George Michael's going. And she was like, I can't, I've got to go to college in the morning, I've just got my bus pass, I really ain't got the money. I'm like, I'll pick you up. She's like, I can't. You know, she's still my best friend today. Ginny, I'd be lost without her, but she was like, Dan, I didn't know what to do. I just saw you go, you were flying with one thing, but you held so many secrets back. And I got to a point a few years ago, just before I went into Big Brother, and I thought, you know what, I'm not going to be the keeper of secrets no more. I'm an adult, I don't have to be. You know, I got clean for 14 years in recovery after nearly dying, and all my organs shutting down, and I was like, I did a 14-year recovery and I didn't show up. You know, yeah, I was clean and sober, I didn't pick up, but that's all I didn't do, was pick up. I sat in meetings I never shared. I didn't work a programme, I didn't have a sponsor, I just looked good, and I didn't show up, and I did that because my husband was a multi-millionaire, and I could look good.
Yeah. Were you scared to open up because you knew it could have brought back all the emotions for being 7 and 8 years old?
No, I was still that mindset of like, out of sight, out of mind. It didn't happen to me. I didn't deal with any of it.
Block it out.
Didn't deal with any of it. I hadn't actually found a therapist either at that time that I couldn't, A, manipulate, and B, that wasn't, you know, a clock watcher that could understand. So, and then I went to treatment just over a year ago up in Luton. I met a fantastic therapist, Michelle, and she just stripped me. And every which way I tried to wiggle out of it, even sometimes about realising, she just went bang, bang, bang. She walked my path. So and I still speak to her weekly now. She just got me. I've been blessed in the situations I've been put in. I've been blessed in the positions I've been put in. There's a lot of kids I went to school with at Sylvia's that are no longer here, that are taking their lives, you know, because of what they've been through and what happened to them.
Was there other kids at your age getting abused back then?
Loads of us, yeah, loads of us.
Have you ever all spoken with each other, or is it kind of all swept
you know what, I'm
under the
still
carpet?
very good friends with a lot of people that I grew up with and worked with. Through the power, I hate social media, really, funny enough. But only because I'm too accessible to people and I lose my temper with them. My son says I have no filter with it. But thanks to that, I've managed to contact over the years a lot of people, and there's been times when I've been at my lowest that then people have picked me up because they've walked my path. All right, they didn't become famous, they didn't get the break I got, but they still know what we went through, and we shared something back then and how they've dealt with it and moved on with their lives and gone on to have children and families and...
Yeah.
You know,
was there no sort of psychologists or anything back in the day for such a young age to getting all that limelight from all your adverts, all your TV work? Was there anybody ever?
No, we were groomed, and that was like a reward. The job.
Did your dad or anything see any signs?
I told my dad when I was just going to well upset me now. I didn't tell my dad about it until I wrote my second book, because I was sat with a friend of mine who used to work for Mixmag, Matt, and he was writing my book for me. And I said to him, do you know what, I'm going to tell you something now. And I don't know where it's come from. It's like something's just come on me. I said, you need to speak about this. And I spoke about it openly, and then I spoke about another thing that happened to me about being taken out of my house, held in an apartment, a place around the corner from here actually for 3 days, and being continuously raped by 3 guys for somebody else's debt. Didn't happen to be home at the time when they knocked. And I spoke all about that in my book, and my poor friend Matt just sat there like that. He didn't know what to say, and he's like, okay, so I said, listen, before I do this, before we finalise the book and put it in, I need to sit down and have a conversation with my dad. Do you know what I mean? I've never seen my dad stop drinking at 19 because my granddad, bad alky, and quite violent. So my dad had never seen that, and I put him through a lot of shit with my addiction over the years publicly that he didn't understand because he never knew any of this. And I told my dad, and then we've been telling my dad just a second. Within 9 months of telling me dad he had 6 strokes, mini strokes. He's got really bad dementia now. And he sort of blamed himself because I never told him. but I was told not to say.
Yeah, you were groomed, man. It's easy. You've been through so much of your life. You've been through the wars. You've been to hell, not just one, but many occasions. But first of all, I keep coming back to it. You show courage and strength, and you're not the only one who's been through that. There's so many people who I've spoke to, and when they start speaking about it, the people who they help, even you speaking about this, you're going to help so many people, and it gives people a better understanding why you went down some of the routes you went down, to block out the pain, the misery, blaming yourself, thinking it was okay. Should I have just says no? It's not as easy as that when you're getting groomed, when you're getting manipulated and abused by fucking dirty old men. So
yeah, and not just men either, women as well. It's not just men, it's women as well, and it's just a frightening. And that never really leaves you, but you just learn to get on with it. And I think I got EastEnders, and I was so elated with stuff, and the BBC saved my life, if I'm honest. Saved my life, because I probably would have gone down a path of, if I hadn't got into that show, I probably would have gone down a path of trying to stay in this industry, working in it within, probably would have ended up an addict and in the sex industry or something like that. I know I would, because sex meant nothing to me, and I would have ended up that way. That's why, I joined the OnlyFans site as well, because I wanted to make my own site, because if girls are going to work in that game, I wanted to try and make it a safer place. It's not all about being groomed. So I joined that, and I've learned so much from that as well. It's like, I don't know where to start with it, but I know my purpose is bigger than just being an actor.
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And a lot of people sit online and go to me, and that's why sometimes I have to hand my social media over, because I get so angry, because I've got children as well, and I'm like, they're like, well, why did you never report it? Why have you been raped and never reported it? Because why would I? Because when you're a kid and you've been told that at 9 years old, something in the back of my mind, as stupid as it is, says, well, no one's going to believe you anyway.
Yeah, but don't even reply to those fucking idiots, man. These are just mugs. These
That's
don't
why I
have
have my
dust.
social
You know what I mean?
media
It's
over.
difficult because I do respond sometimes as well, where I go, well, fuck it. But in life,
And sometimes I do
it
get a
does,
kick out of
as
it. I
human
have to say,
beings,
as sick as it is, I do get a kick sometimes out of just opening up the door and then letting all my followers give it to them.
But
I think
as
you have
human
that.
beings, we are all sensitive. We are all vulnerable. And
Yeah.
if we were to go on their page and say the exact same shit, they would crumble.
Oh,
So
God, it would be, yeah.
This is
I
just
just
part
wouldn't
in
be that
life.
way.
Life's a funny thing. Nobody knows what the fuck we're doing. We're all winging it. I don't know what the
Yeah.
fuck I'm doing. I know what I'm doing, but I question it. Same as yourself, everything you went through, we question it. What is our purpose? Why are we here? Nobody fucking knows. That is where
Exactly
I think all
that,
people
yeah.
are so confused and go through addictions or...
Lots of things.
Yeah.
It's lots of things, Some people have eating disorders, some people have got manic depression, and no two people are the same, so no two addictions are the same, and no two using are the same, but it's all relevant in that person's life. We're not to judge everybody else's on how great our using was. Like I've sat in meetings and heard people go, and I drink a bottle of wine a night, and I've seen people snigger, and I think, hang on a fucking minute. That's a massive thing to that person. How dare you laugh at that person's they're like basically saying, do you know what, that's not an addiction. Get out there and use some more, come back and use. Who the fuck are you to say that? If that one bottle of wine's ruining that person's life and they're in the right place, then fucking fair play.
It's the same people who troll, the same people who post about mental health.
Yeah,
They're
I know.
all over the place, and that is, I always say it.
But they've got mental health anyway themselves.
That's a
clearly.
reflection of them. That's just a reflection of them.
Yeah.
We're out here trying. We're out here trying to make the world
It's
a better
hard.
place,
I mean,
trying to make ourselves a better place. And
Yeah.
it is hard. Especially you've been in the limelight for the last
People with a
30
lot
odd
worse
years.
going on. You know. There's people out there losing their children to cancer and leukemia and things like that. That's traumatic. To me, that's as a parent, that's traumatic. And I do feel for my kids. And when I went on Big Brother, as much as my kids were like, oh, for God's sake, how is she going to be? Because I went in there doing 11 grams of gear a day. I ain't going to lie. No one knows that. I was doing 11 bags of gear a day, and then they walked me through that fucking door, and I went, Phew. And my son and everyone just went, oh, God, the come down, the fallout. And I just picked it up and went to work, because it's here. And I did it to say, do you know what, this is me, this is who I am. And that's where I was at. I'm not going to lie about it. That's what I was doing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I came out of there and my son went, I'm so proud of you. I hadn't seen him for 4 months, and he came downstairs and the friends and family thing, and I just fell apart. It's great to see him. And my son's my best friend in the world. I don't do anything without asking my son. Like with advice, work-wise, and he's an intelligent kid. I'm proud of him. I haven't given him an easy life, or my daughter, but an easy life. But, we'll protect my daughter a bit more, because my son's older. So she's our princess. But, my son's been there for me when everyone else, every single door's closed, that kid's been there.
Yeah, that's the only thing when you're in the limelight. It doesn't just affect you, it affects everyone that's around you.
Oh, God,
Again,
yeah.
it grows inner strength, it grows and you become immune to it. Well, but again, you
But
don't
you
really
don't.
become immune
Do you know
to
what
it.
I mean? My
that
brother's
was-
old Bill, my brother's a
yeah.
copper. You couldn't get two more different kids out the same
Yeah.
freaking gene pool. Like, he's doing really well and he's old Bill, and I'm like, I'm so proud of my brother. But at the same time, he's got a sister like me, and it's like, it's difficult with the life I've had. And he does laugh at me. He goes, for God's sake, what has she done now? You know? And he just says, you're my sister, I love you. Unconditionally, you was dealt a bad hand. I didn't get, thank goodness, what happened to me never happened to my brother.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So he sees it for what it is, and we're all grown adults now. My kids see, you know, they understand. But also, you've got to come to a point in your life where you think, I can't keep living there.
The past.
I can't keep living there, and that trauma, it's not happening to me today. And thank God that we have got stuff being put in place for sex trafficking of children and people in general, and it is being made aware of, and people do know the signs and, you know, of what's going on in this world.
Yeah.
You know, it's no different to kids being sent out to do fucking, I don't know, jobs that they shouldn't be doing at a young age in different countries. It's like, that's all trapped, like using as child labour.
Yeah.
What I was doing was child labour, just in a sex trade. And it's wrong. And I don't think any amount of money that I've earned in the world, or, you know, and blessings that I've been given with television is ever going to take that pain away. But it's given me a platform to be able to speak up about it at a time when it is current
Yeah.
as well.
See, when you turned like 16, see when you